You can get your SDCC exclusives and your Dragon Ball Figuarts at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description down below. Pokemon, Kaiju, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here, and happy Figure Friday to you. This Figure Friday is pretty special because we have a limited theatrical run happening in theaters this weekend of a special character. So this Figure Friday, we're reviewing a figure whose skin is cold. Transfusion with somebody morose and old. That's right, we're taking a look at the SH Figuarts Broly Premium Color Edition, exclusive to SDCC 2016. Now, this figure is obviously a repaint of the very popular Broly Figuarts that was released at the end of 2014, and that one sold out at Bluefin before it even hit the US. So with that in mind, is this repaint worth the purchase? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. At about the $250 or more price tag, yeah, this review is kind of important. One of the chief complaints with the original Figuarts Broly was that some people said that the colors weren't accurate. I tend to disagree, but anyway, here we do have a Broly which is aimed more so at the scene where he first becomes the legendary Super Saiyan with the intense green aura, the really grayed out, almost decaying like skin. And I gotta be honest with you here, Bandai did a pretty solid job. The only issue that I have is I think his hair is a bit too neon. It is super intense. My camera and my editing program absolutely hate it, so it's gonna look even more so than what it actually is. But for everything else, Broly looks good. He does also have one quality control issue that they did not fix from the original, and we'll take a look at that in a second. So, taking a look at the faceplates that we get with Broly, we do have some pretty nifty shading on this one. You see, for all of the faceplates at the forehead, it is a pretty dark gray shading as it moves all the way down to the chin. So, Broly does look like he has some actual color to his face, even though technically black, white, gray is an absence. Anyway, yeah, Broly's faceplates, they do look good. Now, taking a look at his actual hair, which is the main driving point of picking up this Figuarts, you can see that there is little to no shading. The plastic is essentially neon green, and that is what you're getting for Broly's hair. And I do have to be honest with you, even though I don't necessarily think Broly's hair was that green in the legendary Super Saiyan movie, I think this actually does look pretty cool. Throughout the rest of Broly's main body, we do continue that sort of grayish shading on Broly, and it does actually look pretty good. It really does enhance his muscles. It's all in his, well, technically 4-pack there, and definitely found on his chest, where unfortunately that mold line that was on the first Broly is also here. And for note, it's also on the DB Tour Broly. I don't know why they didn't fix that. Anyway, taking a look at its humongous arms, yep, they're pretty accurate. They look fantastic. But when we get down to the gauntlets, unfortunately, this is a quality control issue which has plagued all 3 Broly releases so far. The paint is, well, easy to remove one way or another. You see, mine already kind of has a little bit of chipping here and there, despite the fact that I've only taken them out of the box for a couple of pictures. But one of the big issues is that if Broly's hands are even slightly touching the gauntlets, and then you go to move the hands, you'll hear a crack. This crack is Broly's hand stripping paint off of the gauntlets and onto his hand, which actually does have some pretty neat shading. It's really cool that Bandai paid attention to that detail, but they didn't do anything to coat the gauntlets to prevent any form of paint transfer or damage. Big no-no on their part. Anyway, something you may have noticed on the necklace for Broly is that there is a piece of blue plastic to represent a gem, and it is translucent blue. Guess what? On his kilt, we'll call it, that blue gem is found again, and it looks great. The shading details on the kilt also are great as well, so this is good to see here. Moving on down to the pants, I think they're a little too gray, but to give Bandai the benefit of the doubt, they did a fantastic job covering everything there in terms of paint shading. The boots also look great as well, though that little metal disc in the ankles is a little off-putting. But when all is said and done at the end of the day, Broly here looks great. So for articulation, Broly actually moves pretty well despite his size, because usually some folks think, oh, the bigger the figure, the more out there to design, probably can't move too well, but don't worry, Broly moves really nicely with a ball-jointed head where he plugs into the neck. And what's interesting is if you take a look at it from behind, you can see this rather well. There is a double hinge system there, so this way you can get Broly to really move his head down pretty far. Right? So if you wanted to do that, because that looks natural, you can do that, or you can get him to look up, you can get him to look left, right, all sorts of different directions. Because of those joints, you can move Broly's head in pretty much any direction, which is nice. Unfortunately, there's no neck joint down here, and he does have some large hair, so yeah, getting him to look up all the way, even when his hair parts fall off, unfortunately, you can't really do that, but, you know, that's just a little bit of a sacrifice here for Broly, because the rest of the articulation is just fine. You know, we do have the ball-jointed shoulders where they plug in, which is a Figuarts standard, along with an actual hinge where the shoulders are. So this way you can raise and lower Broly's arms, and we can get him into all sorts of fun ballistic berserker poses if you want to do that. We have a very clear bicep swivel right here. And right here can spin all the way around, and we do have a double elbow hinge, which sometimes requires the use of two hands if you're not too familiar with how those joints work, or if Broly has somewhat tight joints on yours. For the wrists, we just have ball joints there where the hands rocking around. And you got to make sure, again, that the hands are not resting up against the gauntlets, or you're going to have that pain transfer, which kind of sucks. We do have a ball-jointed ab crunch, which allows Broly to, well, crunch forward, turn from side to side just a little bit, which is cool. And then we do have a little bit of a ball-jointed waist joint, so this way we can get Broly in all sorts of fun poses, tilting and turning. What's really nice is his kilt, I guess we'll call it. This part here actually kind of swivels around, which is nice. It's not particularly on a joint. It's just not connected to anything, so that's cool. This front part is on a hinge and swivel combo. So this way you can move it up and down, and then this allows you to twist and turn it. The two side parts here are also on a similar style joint, so you can get Broly to move this out of the way. So this way you have perfect leg movement, which is going to be the 1.0 body style of legs here. So they do have a pull down hinge. So they drop down and they go back up. The legs are attached into the hips at the thighs on a ball joint. All right, so hips, you do have the typical ball joint. You have the pull down. The thighs also do have a swivel. We do have the double hinge knee. Perfect bend there. We do have the ankle rockers that you would expect on a Figuarts, right? And then we have a toe hinge. So all in all, Broly's articulation is great, and what's really cool about Broly is as you learn his joints, you're going to be able to pull off some really fun, cool poses, and you're going to see in a minute he comes with a stand that everybody is going goo goo gaga over that you need for Broly. At least that's what some folks say, but as you get experienced with posing Broly, you're not going to need that stand as he falls over. So let's try that one more time. Yeah, you can definitely get Broly up on one foot. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, just like that. So yeah, you're going to get this guy in a ton of fun poses. Now let's just do a slam test. He's good. Moving on to accessories for Broly, he is pretty straightforward. We do get 2 extra faceplates, we get 2 extra sets of hands, we get 3 energy blast effect parts, we get 1 Tamashii Stage Act 4 support base with 2 support arms and 1 unique claw for Broly. Keep in mind, this claw is not found anywhere else, and on this particular release of Broly, the copyright information, along with all of the marks you would need for the legitimacy, is found on that base. Don't lose it. Anyway, taking a look at the faceplates for Broly, they're pretty easy to swap out, as you kind of saw me bumble around there in the articulation section with the front hairpiece. All you have to do is pop that off, which sometimes you may just have to put a little force behind, remove the faceplate, and then put the new one in. For Broly here, we do get 1 smug-looking face, which is really cool. This is my preferred default face for Broly, and then we get 1 screaming mad face for Broly, both perfect for this character. For the extra hand parts, aside from the fists, we do get 2 widely splayed hand parts, and then we do get 2 slightly cuffed hand parts, kind of like he's going to fire the Kamehameha or even hold energy blasts. Yep, the 3 of them that we get, and this is what I really like about Broly. He can actually interact with his effect parts, and even though you do get a display stand, which you can insert into the 1 of 4 holes on any of the 3 blast effects, Broly can hold it himself. So yes, these energy blasts are pretty much identical to the original release of Broly, except they added 3 other holes into them. So take your pick there. Bad joke. They do have a little bit of paint spray to them, a little bit of white, but other than that, they are pretty cool. And the display stand, that's straightforward for Broly. I don't really need to show you how to use that. Anyway, Broly's accessories are nice for the price point at MSRP, but to be honest with you, one of the critiques I have about Broly as a whole for the Figuarts release, all 3 paint versions of him, is that he doesn't have a gritting teeth face for when he first explodes into Legendary Super Saiyan, and then I think he needs some sort of maniacal laughing face. I think that would really bring this character out. Yes, he does have that grin face, but he doesn't have a, is that another word for coffin face. Nothing really fits that, but yes, he does need the screaming, gritting teeth face. Now, if you maybe need some other effect parts, I have 2 videos for Dragon Ball fans, which cards should be popping up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Click on those, and let's get you some more fitting effect parts. Now we're going to round the corner for this review with a nice size comparison for you, so you can see that Broly is large and definitely in charge. The only other figure in the SH Figuarts line, the Dragon Ball ones to be specific, that can go toe-to-toe in terms of size for Broly is Majin Buu. That should say something. Now, of course, I've been talking about the original release of Broly, so let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison with the Premium Color Edition and the original. As you can see, the Premium Color Edition, again, is meant to more so represent when Broly first explodes into the Legendary Super Saiyan form, whereas the original release was meant to sort of be, from what I'm gathering, a sort of aggregate of the 2 main appearances of Broly in Second Coming and Legendary Super Saiyan, where the yellow hair actually has a bit of green spray, he actually has some color to his skin tone, and the pants are a bit more accurate to Broly and Legendary Super Saiyan. However, this is definitely going to be a tomato-tomato situation because the Premium Color Edition, green hair. Original, green spray? Yeah. So, buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. At original release, this Broly was a no-brainer for fans of Broly, or for those who didn't pick up the first release of Broly. Now, however, this is only for the diehards. Yes, this is a fantastic figure, dare I say. Broly is not only one of the best Dragon Ball Figuarts to be released, but under the SH Figuarts brand, I would have to say Broly is probably one of the best figures. However, this specific repaint, you gotta really make sure you want to drop the cash for this guy. Yeah, definitely an awesome figure, definitely a fantastic display piece, worth the aftermarket price, only to those who have to collect them all. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links, like the credits for this video, and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next one.